The doorbell camera alert came through at 7:43 p.m. on a Tuesday. I was helping Emma with her math homework at the kitchen table while Daniel practiced piano in the living room. My phone buzzed with the notification, "Motion detected at front door." I glanced at the screen and saw my father standing on my doorstep. He wasn't supposed to be here. We hadn't spoken in 2 weeks, not since I'd refused to sell him my software company. "Keep working on problem 12, I told Emma, standing up. "I'll be right back." I opened the door but didn't invite him inside. "We need to talk," Dad said. His voice had that edge I recognized from childhood, the one that meant he'd already decided how the conversation would end. "It's late," I said. "The kids have school tomorrow. This won't take long." He glanced past me into the house. "Are they here?" Something in his tone made my stomach tighten. "What do you want, Dad?" He pulled an envelope from his jacket pocket, the same envelope his lawyer had presented 2 weeks ago. "The buyout offer for my company, 30% below market value. A family discount," he'd called it. "Sign the papers," he said, holding them out. "I already told you no. You told me you'd think about it." "I thought about it. The answer is no." Dad's jaw tightened. He looked past me again toward the sound of Daniel's piano practice. "You're making a mistake," he said quietly. "It's my company, my decision. Your company, that you built with my advice, my connections, my initial investment, which I paid back 3 years ago with interest." We'd had this argument before. Dad had given me $50,000 when I first started the business. I'd repaid $75,000 within 18 months. But in his mind he'd never stopped being an investor, never stopped having a claim. "I'm not selling to you," I said firmly. "Especially not at that price. I have an offer from Tech Venture for 3 times what you're proposing." Dad's face darkened. Tech Venture was his main competitor. Selling to them would be a public humiliation for him. "You wouldn't," he said. "I'm meeting with them Thursday to finalize terms." That's when his expression changed. The business mask dropped away, and something colder emerged. "Sign the papers," he said again, "or I'll make them disappear." I blinked. "Excuse me, Emma and Daniel." He said my children's names slowly, deliberately. "I'll make them disappear. You know I can." For a moment I couldn't process what I was hearing. Then my hand moved to my phone in my pocket, checking that it was there. The doorbell camera was recording. It always recorded. "You're threatening my children," I said, keeping my voice steady. "I'm explaining consequences," Dad said. "You're not thinking clearly. You're letting emotions cloud your business judgment. I'm trying to help you understand what's at stake." "What's at stake?" I repeated slowly. "Emma takes the bus home from school, doesn't she? Gets off at Maple and 3rd around 3:20 p.m., walks 3 blocks by herself. Daniel has piano lessons on Thursdays at 4 p.m. His teacher's studio is in that strip mall on Henderson. You drop him off and pick him up an hour later." My blood went cold. "You're watching them." "I'm aware of their schedules," Dad corrected. "I'm their grandfather. I'm supposed to know these things." "You're threatening to kidnap them." "I'm not threatening anything," he said calmly. "I'm simply noting that 7 and 9-year-olds are vulnerable. Accidents happen. People disappear. You read about it in the news all the time." He stepped closer. I held my ground. "Here's what would happen," he continued, his voice dropping. "Let's say Emma doesn't get off the bus one day. She gets confused, stays on too long, ends up across town. By the time anyone realizes she's missing, it's been hours. She's scared, crying, doesn't know where she is. Maybe someone finds her. Maybe they don't." "Stop," I said. "Or Daniel," Dad continued. "Someone approaches him at piano, says there's an emergency, that Mom sent them to pick him up. He's a trusting kid. He'd go with someone who seemed official enough. By the time his piano teacher realizes he's gone, the person could be anywhere. I will call the police right now." "And tell them what?" Dad asked. "That your father came to discuss a business deal. That he mentioned your children in casual conversation." "I haven't threatened anyone. I've just observed that young children are vulnerable, and that you should consider their safety when making important business decisions." He held out the papers again. "Sign," he said. "Sell me the company at my price, or spend every day for the rest of your life wondering if today is the day your children don't come home." I looked at my father, this man who had taught me to ride a bike, who had attended every school play, who had walked me down the aisle at my wedding. He was completely serious. "I have resources you can't imagine," he said quietly. "I know people who specialize in making problems disappear. I've used them before for business purposes. Using them for this wouldn't be difficult." You're insane. I'm practical, he corrected. I built my company from nothing. I did whatever was necessary to succeed. I thought I'd taught you that, but apparently you need a more direct lesson about how the real world works. He placed the papers on my doorstep. You have until Friday, he said. Sign and send them to my office. Or don't. Your choice. But understand the consequences of your choice. He turned and walked back to his Mercedes. I watched him get in, adjust his rearview mirror and drive away. He was smiling, confident, certain he'd won. I stood on my doorstep for 30 seconds, making sure his car was gone. Then I went inside, locked the door, and went straight to my laptop. The doorbell camera footage uploaded automatically to cloud storage. I logged in and found the video. 7 minutes and 42 seconds. Perfect audio and video quality. Every word clear. I played it back twice, making sure I hadn't imagined it. My father's voice. I'll make them disappear. You know I can. His detailed description of Emma's bus route, Daniel's piano lessons, the specific threats disguised as observations, or spend every day for the rest of your life wondering if today is the day your children don't come home. I saved 3 copies, one on my laptop, one on a USB drive, one uploaded to a separate cloud account. Then I opened my email and began composing. My father was CEO of Dynamic Core Systems, a multinational tech corporation, publicly traded, board of directors, major investors, partners across 3 continents. I'd met most of them at company events over the years. I had their email addresses from the family business directory Dad maintained. I attached the video to 12 separate emails. The first went to Richard Morrison, board chairman. Subject line, CEO threatens grandchildren on recorded surveillance. The second to Patricia Walsh, lead investor and majority shareholder. The third to James Park, chief legal counsel. I continued down the list. Every board member, every major investor, every executive partner who had decision-making authority over my father's position. In each email I wrote the same message, attached as doorbell camera footage from Tuesday, March 12 at 7:43 p.m. The video shows Robert Manning, CEO of Dynamic Core Systems, threatening to kidnap his grandchildren, ages 7 and 9, unless I sell my company to him at below market value. He details their schedules, describes potential kidnapping scenarios, and claims to have resources and people who specialize in making problems disappear. He states he has used them before for business purposes. This represents criminal threats against minors, extortion and potential conspiracy to commit kidnapping. I am filing a police report and restraining order tomorrow morning. I wanted you to be aware of the CEO's conduct and statements before they become public record. The video is unedited and time-stamped. Full copy available upon request. I sent all 12 emails at 8:17 p.m. Then I sent the video to my lawyer, with instructions to file for an emergency restraining order first thing in the morning. Then I sent it to the police department's non-emergency email with a request for a detective to contact me about filing charges. Then I sent it to Tech Ventures CEO with a note. This is why I'm accepting your offer immediately. Please expedite all paperwork. By 8:30 p.m., 16 people had received the video of my father threatening his grandchildren. Emma came into my office. Mom, are you okay? You've been in here a while. I'm fine, sweetie. I closed my laptop, just finishing some work emails. How's the math homework? Finished. Can I have screen time? Sure. 30 minutes. She ran back to the living room. Daniel's piano practice had ended. I could hear them negotiating over which show to watch. My phone started ringing at 8:47 p.m. Richard Morrison. I didn't answer. Patricia Walsh called at 8:52 p.m. I didn't answer. James Park called at 9:03 p.m. Then again at 9:07 p.m. I silenced my phone and put the kids to bed. Normal routine. Brush teeth. Pick out tomorrow's clothes. Read 2 chapters of their current book. Is Grandpa coming this weekend? Daniel asked as I tucked him in. No, I said. Not this weekend. Good, he said. He's been weird lately. Weird how? Just asking lots of questions about school and stuff. It felt nosy. My chest tightened. What kind of questions? Like what time I get out, where you park when you pick me up, if I ever go anywhere alone. Daniel yawned. Can we go to the Science Museum Saturday instead? Absolutely, I said. We'll go Saturday. I kissed his forehead and turned out the light. My email inbox was exploding. By 10 p.m. I had responses from all 12 board members. Most were some variation of "call me immediately." Patricia Walsh's was different. Emergency board meeting scheduled for 8 a.m. tomorrow. Robert Manning will be placed on immediate administrative leave pending investigation. Please contact James Park to discuss legal proceedings and victim support resources. Your children's safety is our primary concern. At 10:47 p.m., my father called. I answered on speakerphone, but didn't say anything. "What did you do?" His voice was different now. "Higher." Stressed. "I sent the video to your board of directors," I said calmly. "And your investors, and your legal counsel, and the police." Silence. "You're destroying everything," he said finally. "You threatened to kidnap my children." "I didn't mean that's not what I." "You can't. It's all on video, Dad. Every word. Time-stamped. Crystal clear audio." "Delete it," he said. "Delete it right now. I'll withdraw the offer. You can sell to whoever you want. Just delete the video." "I can't delete what I've already sent to 16 people. This will ruin me." "You threatened Emma and Daniel. I was trying to make you understand. You described kidnapping scenarios in detail. You said you have people who make problems disappear. You said you've used them before. For business purposes." "I meant business problems. Tell that to the board tomorrow morning." He was breathing hard now. I could hear it over the phone. "They're calling an emergency meeting," he said. "Patricia already contacted me. They're going to force me out." "Yes. Over a misunderstanding. Over you threatening to kidnap your grandchildren on camera." "I would never actually. That's not what you said in the video." Silence again. Longer this time. "Please," he said finally. His voice cracked. "Please, I'm begging you. Call them back. Tell them you misunderstood. Tell them it was taken out of context." "No. I'm your father. And Emma and Daniel are my children. You threatened them. You lose." I hung up. At 11:30 p.m., James Park emailed again. "Police have requested the video. I've advised them you'll file a formal report tomorrow. Detective Sarah Williams will meet you at 9 a.m. at the station. Restraining order hearing scheduled for 2 p.m. Board has voted to suspend Robert Manning immediately. Full termination proceedings to follow pending investigation." I replied, "Thank you, I'll be there at 9 a.m. I checked on the kids one more time, both sleeping peacefully. I stood in the doorway of each room, watching them breathe. Tomorrow I'd file the police report, testify for the restraining order, meet with Tech Venture to finalize the sale of my company at full market value. Tomorrow my father would attend an emergency board meeting where 12 people would watch him threaten his grandchildren on video. Tomorrow his career would end. But tonight my children were safe in their beds, and that was all that mattered." I went to my office and downloaded one more copy of the video, just in case. The timestamp read, Tuesday, March 12, 7:43 p.m. 7 minutes and 42 seconds that destroyed a CEO. My phone buzzed with one final email. Richard Morrison. Board vote concluded. Robert Manning terminated effective immediately. Security will escort him from building tomorrow at 8 a.m. All access revoked. Please accept our deepest apologies on behalf of Dynamic Core Systems. This is unconscionable. I closed my laptop and went to bed. My grandmother died on a Tuesday in March, and my father stopped speaking to me by Friday. The reading of her will happened the following week. I sat in Attorney Morrison's office expecting the usual distribution. Everything split between Dad and his siblings, maybe small bequests to grandchildren. Morrison opened the trust documents instead. Mrs. Elizabeth Carver established 3 separate irrevocable trusts in 2019, he said. The primary trust, valued at approximately $8.3 million, names her grandson Michael Carver as sole trustee and primary beneficiary. My father stood up. "That's a mistake." "It's not," Morrison said. Mrs. Carver was exceptionally clear about her intentions. "Michael has full discretionary authority over all trust assets, distributions and management decisions. I'm her son. You're specifically excluded in Section 4, Paragraph 2. Morrison slid a copy across the table. Mrs. Carver included a detailed letter explaining her reasoning, which I'm required to read only to Michael. Dad left without another word. That letter, which I read alone in Morrison's office, explained everything. My grandmother had watched my father burn through 2 previous inheritances, one from his own father, another from an aunt. She'd established these trusts 5 years ago specifically to protect family assets from his financial mismanagement. She'd chosen me because I was the only family member who'd completed financial planning certification and maintained stable employment. The letter ended simply, "Protect this, don't let him waste it." I went home and told my wife Sarah. She was 12 weeks pregnant with our first child. "Does your dad know you control everything?" she asked. "He knows I'm the trustee. I don't think he understands what that means yet. He figured it out by the following Monday." Dad showed up at my office without calling. "We need to discuss restructuring those trusts." "There's nothing to discuss. Grandmother's instructions were clear. I'm your father." She would have wanted family to benefit equally. "She set these up 5 years ago, Dad. She had time to change them if she wanted." His jaw tightened. "You're going to refuse to help your own father. I'm going to honor grandmother's wishes. That's what a trustee does." He left, but his car stayed in the parking lot for 2 hours. I watched from my window as he made phone calls, his gestures getting more agitated. That evening he called. "Congratulations on the baby, by the way. Sarah must be excited." "We both are. Pregnancy is delicate, third trimester especially. Lots can go wrong." "Is there something specific you wanted to discuss?" "Just saying it's important to have family support during vulnerable times. You might reconsider being difficult about the trusts." I said nothing. "Think about it," he said, then hung up. I told Sarah about the call. She was setting up the nursery, folding tiny clothes she'd bought that afternoon. "That sounded threatening," she said. "It was vague enough to be nothing." "Michael, your father just connected our baby to money in the same conversation." She was right. I started carrying my phone everywhere. Voice recorder app ready. The next incident came 4 days later. Sarah had a routine prenatal appointment. My father called that morning. "I'm in the area. I'll drive Sarah to her appointment." "We're fine, Dad. I'm taking her." "You're always so busy. Let me help." "We don't need help." He showed up at our house anyway. Sarah answered the door while I was finishing a work call in my office. When I came out, Dad was sitting in our living room. "I was just telling Sarah that second trimester appointments are crucial," he said. "Wouldn't want her to miss one because you got caught up at work." "I'm never caught up at work for her appointments. Still, accidents happen. Traffic, emergencies. Good to have backup plans." He smiled at Sarah. "I'm always available." After he left, I activated the recorder app and didn't turn it off. Week 3 of the pregnancy brought Sarah's anatomy scan. Dad called the night before. "Big appointment tomorrow. Make sure she gets there." "Of course she'll get there. I mean it, Michael. These scans catch problems early. Miss the appointment, you might miss something critical." His voice dropped. "Be a shame if transportation issues prevented proper care." I was recording. "Are you threatening to prevent my wife from getting medical care?" "I'm saying family should work together. You control millions in trust assets. I need access to funds." "These things connect." "They don't connect at all, don't they?" "Sarah needs rides to appointments. I provide rides. Or I don't. Your choice." He hung up. I had 6 minutes of audio. Sarah's scan went perfectly. Our daughter was healthy. Dad sent a text an hour later. "Glad everything went well. Could have gone differently. Think about the trust restructuring." I forwarded everything to Attorney Morrison. "Document all contact," he said. "If this escalates, we'll need evidence." It escalated. Week 5, Sarah started having Braxton Hicks contractions. Normal but uncomfortable. Her doctor wanted to monitor her twice weekly. Dad called after her first monitoring appointment. False labor can become real labor. Third trimester is unpredictable. She's 24 weeks. Time flies. Before you know it, she'll be in active labor. Hope you have reliable transportation to the hospital. What are you implying? I'm stating facts. Accidents happen in third trimester. Women have emergencies. Babies come early. You need people you can count on." He paused. "People who feel valued and supported by family." "Supported how?" "Dissolve the trusts. Distribute the assets fairly. Then I'm available for whatever Sarah needs." "You're extorting medical access." "I'm offering help. Whether you accept determines how available I am during your wife's medical emergencies." I saved the recording. 19 minutes of escalating threats, all tied directly to the trusts. Morrison called a meeting with 2 additional estate attorneys. We reviewed every recording. "This is criminal extortion," the younger attorney said. "He's threatening to withhold emergency medical transport." "Can we get a restraining order?" I asked. "With this evidence?" "Absolutely. But there's another issue. Morrison pulled up the trust documents. Your father filed a petition last week to contest your grandmother's will. He's claiming undue influence and diminished capacity. She set these up 5 years before she died. We know, but he's forcing a court review. We need to respond comprehensively. Morrison looked at me. How many recordings do you have now? 12 conversations over 5 weeks. Everyone mentions the pregnancy and the trusts together. We're calling in additional counsel. This needs to go before probate court immediately. By week 7, Sarah was 30 weeks pregnant. Her doctor scheduled twice-weekly appointments to monitor her blood pressure. Dad showed up at one of them. Sarah called me from the parking lot, shaking. Your father is here. He's standing by my car. Don't engage. I'm calling the police. He's walking over. I heard Dad's voice through the phone. Sarah, we should talk about Michael's stubbornness. This stress isn't good for the baby. Please leave me alone. I'm trying to help family. Michael controls money that should benefit everyone. Instead, he's hoarding it while you're vulnerable and pregnant. The money is his grandmother's decision. Decisions can be changed, especially when grandchildren are at stake. His voice was clear on the recording. Babies need healthy mothers. Healthy mothers need support. Support requires cooperation. Security came out. Dad left. I had 23 minutes of audio from Sarah's phone. Morrison assembled a team. By week 8, 14 estate attorneys were reviewing the evidence. Every recording, every text, every documented incident. We're filing emergency motions. Morrison said, your father's will contest is scheduled for preliminary hearing next week. We're going to play these recordings for the probate judges. All of them? Every single one. The judges need to hear exactly how he's been threatening a pregnant woman to access money he has no legal claim to. Sarah went into early labor at 32 weeks. I called 911 immediately. Dad called while the ambulance was en route. I answered on speaker. Recording still active. I heard Sarah might be in labor. Need a ride to the hospital. Ambulance is coming. Ambulances cost money. Money you're keeping from family. His voice was calm, pleasant. Still time to reconsider the trust situation before anything tragic happens. Are you seriously holding hospital access hostage right now? I'm offering support. Whether you want it depends on your choices about grandmother's money. The ambulance arrived. I hung up and saved the recording. Sarah delivered our daughter that night. Emma was small but healthy, spending 2 weeks in the NICU. Dad sent flowers with a card. Congratulations. Family should stick together. We still need to discuss the trusts. The probate hearing happened 3 days after Emma came home. Morrison's entire legal team arrived. All 14 attorneys, each carrying documentation, recordings, transcripts. My father sat across the courtroom with a single lawyer, who looked increasingly uncomfortable. Judge Anderson and Judge Williams presided together for the trust contest. Morrison stood. Your honors, we're here to defend the validity of Elizabeth Carver's trust documents and to address the conduct of the contestant, Richard Carver. During these proceedings, the trusts are straightforward. Dad's attorney said, we're simply questioning whether Mrs. Carver had proper capacity when. Let's address the contestant's behavior first. Morrison interrupted. He activated the courtroom audio system. Dad's voice filled the room. Accidents happen in third trimester. The courtroom went silent. Morrison played 12 recordings chronologically. 8 weeks of escalating threats. Medical appointments, transportation, hospital access. Every threat tied directly to dissolving the trusts. Dissolve your trusts or face tragedy. Dad's face went white as his own words echoed back. The final recording was from Sarah's labor. Still time to reconsider the trust situation before anything tragic happens. Judge Anderson leaned forward when it ended. Mr. Carver, did you threaten to withhold emergency medical transportation from your pregnant daughter-in-law? Dad's attorney stood quickly. My client's words were taken out of context. We have 8 weeks of context. Morrison said, 14 estate attorneys have reviewed this evidence. Mr. Carver systematically used his grandson's wife's pregnancy as leverage to access trust funds he has no legal claim to. Judge Williams reviewed the transcripts. This is extortion. Beyond that, it's unconscionable conduct during vulnerable medical circumstances. The trusts themselves are clear. Judge Anderson said. Mrs. Carver established them 5 years before her death. She was evaluated by 3 physicians who confirmed her capacity. She provided detailed written explanations of her decisions. There's no basis for contest. Dad stood. I'm her son. She wouldn't have excluded me. She explicitly excluded you, Judge Williams said, in witness notarized documents, with detailed reasoning. While demonstrating perfect testamentary capacity, she looked at the recording's transcript. And you've spent 2 months threatening a pregnant woman to override your mother's clearly expressed wishes. Morrison added, we're requesting immediate dismissal of the will contest with prejudice, a permanent restraining order protecting Michael Carver and his family, and referral to the district attorney's office for criminal charges. Judge Anderson didn't hesitate. Contest dismissed. The trusts are valid as written. Mr. Richard Carver is permanently barred from contesting these trusts again. She signed documents rapidly. Restraining order granted. No contact with Michael Carver, Sarah Carver, or their child. 500-yard minimum distance. She looked directly at my father. We're referring this to the DA. Extortion, criminal threats and endangerment charges are appropriate. Dad's attorney tried to speak. Judge Anderson cut him off. Your client threatened to withhold emergency medical care from a woman in her 3rd trimester. Unless he received millions of dollars he has no right to. That's not a family dispute. That's a crime. Security escorted Dad from the courtroom. He looked back once, face red with fury. Morrison gathered the documents. The restraining order is active immediately. If he violates it, call police. I went home to Sarah and Emma. Our daughter was sleeping in her bassinet, tiny and perfect. Sarah looked at me. What happened? It's over. All 14 attorneys presented the recordings. Both judges heard everything. Dad's contest was dismissed. He's got a permanent restraining order, and the DA is filing criminal charges. He can't contact us. Never. Not us. Not Emma. It's over. My phone buzzed. Morrison DA confirmed charges. Extortion, criminal threats, attempted coercion. Trial likely within 6 months. I deleted my father's number and blocked it on Sarah's phone. That night I reviewed the trust documents my grandmother had left me. Her handwritten note was attached. Protect this. Don't let him waste it. I hadn't just protected the money. I'd protected my family. Emma stirred in her sleep. Sarah reached over and held my hand. Your grandmother would be proud, she said. Outside, the restraining order kept my father 500 yards away. The recordings had done their job. 14 estate attorneys and 2 probate judges had heard his exact words. The consequences were just beginning.